My name is Amlak-I Foley, and I did 19 years in prison. My life before prison was full of love because I had a great mother and great family members. It was just stricken with poverty. And with poverty comes bad decisions oftentimes because you want things and you can't get them. So it's like you're in a breeding ground of potential, I'm gonna get it however I can. What put me in prison is my thinking, what I thought of myself. I really didn't think or hold myself in high esteem. I didn't really see myself as a son of God. I didn't see myself as that mighty person that was born on September 2nd, 1980, who was destined to do great things. First and foremost, we have to start with the thinking because everything starts with a thought. So I could have never perpetrated an action against any of humanity if I didn't think to perpetrate an action. My life of prison was full of rebellious acts. Like, it didn't matter, I was a rebel just cause. I was not a rebel with a cause. I was a rebel just cause. And so what happened, I ended up going to confinement over and over. In my first 11 months incarcerated, I had accumulated 32 disciplinary reports. That was like the first 3 to 5 years of my prison sentence. After that, I ended up going to a place called CM, closed management, where they kept me in confined quarters of a one-man cell for 38 months. Given 3 showers a week, maybe 3 to 5 minute showers, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Allowed to go to rec, but only in a cage. So this was my 38 months of solitude and solace. I remember prior to me going to CM, 38 months, a captain, he sat me down. His name was Captain Papel. If you're listening out there, Captain Papel, how you doing? Appreciate it, man. So he sat me down. I was what they call a hellraiser. And like I said, I was 18 years old. This was like my first camp, my first prison. And he sat me down. He brought me out of the cell one day. He came, they do their rounds. And he did his rounds and he said, "Foley, you still cutting up?" And I gave him the most disrespectful, rebellious response. And he responded by telling the officer on the walkie-talkie, "Hey, open up cell, whatever cell I was in." So he opens up the cell, no handcuffs. Captain Papel's a big cornbread, Nebraska-fed guy. So he opens up the door, I come out, and he escorts me to a room. He said, "Come with me." He turned his back to me and everything, like I wouldn't hit him in the back of the head, right? He was not nervous of me at all. Big guy. So we go into the room and he sits me down. He says, "Foley, you give a lot of trouble on my compound." I say, "Yeah, so what?" So he says, "I just want to let you know, man, you're fighting a senseless battle. The walls you're trying to destroy have not been destroyed since before Jesus was here. The walls of the penitentiary have not been destroyed by one man. Maybe by the Spirit of God, yes. But by one man, no, the walls will not be destroyed. So you're fighting against a machine and a system that you will not defeat." And with those words, he set me along my way. And I went back to my cell. And his words traveled with me. And at that point, I realized that I have to make a change, and that change has to be aligned with the spirituality of God. I have to be aligned with God. I have to be aligned with the principles of God's Spirit. I have to be aligned with God's messengers. I have to be aligned with myself. And so that's what it was. And it didn't take that much, because it's like when the Spirit hits you, man, you think Barry Bonds can hit a home run. You think Mike Tyson can punch. You think that kangaroo can kick you in your stomach and hurt you. Man, when the Spirit touches you, man, it don't take much. There's an old penitentiary adage that says, "Oh, those guys over there, they find God, they find their spirituality when they come to prison. And then when they get out, they leave God and their spirituality and all that good moral stuff right at the gate." That's the people in prison saying that about other people in prison, right? So, and it's true a lot of times. a lot of times it's true. I've sat in prison for 19 years, me personally. So I've been, I would say, blessed with the privilege to see people who throw down their religion and throw down their spirituality at the gate and come back. And I say blessed because I get to learn from their mistakes. It seems like all the people who were in the same circles with me as far as spiritually, they have a common thread that what happened was they lost their humility. I started feeling myself, bro. Man, I took my eyes off God and I started looking at me in the mirror. You know, the girls, man, the drugs called me back. I stopped going to church. Oh man, yeah. So that story right there shows me over and over that the humility is the key to the greatness that we really grabbed a hold of while we were behind the wall, because we were radiant. Like anytime they were calling the service, we were, hey officer, service is at 5 o'clock. It's 5:01. What's going on? Hey officer, you know, and and you go from that to zero. But if you stay on that level, when you come home, you can be that hero to your family. Because although you may not have the $100,000 yet, you have the morality, you have the righteousness, you have the humility, you have the tongue that's slow to anger, you have that peace that passes all understanding. And this is what allows us as returning citizens to stay plugged up to a loving support system. Being able to show those God characteristics in a family, that a man should be a God-fearing man, and a God-fearing man is going to exhibit the characteristics of the Creator. So if you're displaying the characteristics of the Creator on a smaller level, then you won't go back to prison. Your family will love you. They'll be your biggest fans. So I think that's why it's so important to not leave God at the gate.